So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about modern dating from a woman's perspective. And yes, the title is intentionally spelled wrong so that YouTube doesn't flag me. I think there's a little bit of comedy with some of the titles that I make, but if you've been watching me long enough, you know my struggle with YouTube and censorship. So I gotta do what I gotta do and make these grammatical and actual English language abominations, but trust me, I am educated. So I wanted to talk about how I feel like modern day dating has become very close to selling yourself and some of the negative aspects that I see in regards to this. Essentially, it's transactional. Of course, we can talk about how the dating pool sucks based off of a lot of women's experiences. There are so many women with genuine intentions that are just looking for a man who has good intentions, works hard, makes an honest living, and actually wants to build and treat them with respect. Black women in particular face a lot of misogyny, which is also deemed misogynoir, meaning the Black experience of misogyny that is sometimes a little bit more harsh in nature from other versions of misogyny, because within Black spaces, regardless of ethnicity, location, or culture, I feel like there is this commonality of how Black men can treat Black women at times. A lot of Black cultures are not as unified or on code in comparison to other cultures. White, Caucasian, Asian, and other native cultures, where it seems like although any race of women can face violence, abuse, neglect, single motherhood, etc., it seems like the Black version of all of these things are platformed with a little bit more hardship than normal. And that's probably because most Black cultures are not starting off with the social economic privileges that are awarded to them just based off of having a certain skin color or culture. Needless to say, modern day dating seems like a hassle. But on the flip side of the women who do have good intentions are the women who, for some reason, aren't looking at dating with realistic and non-media driven ideologies. I'm probably speaking to a younger audience, but I can't neglect older audiences because I feel like a lot of men that buy into modern day dating are older men and younger women. So maybe the 25-year-old who's just trying to figure things out, dating a man who is in his late 30s or early 40s, and their dynamic being based off of things that I think oftentimes align with a transaction. I will say I do believe dating is transactional, but we have to categorize what type of transaction we're talking about. As a woman gives her love, care, and attention and devotion to her relationship or household, I do think that transaction from a man comes with security, protection, financial support, and leadership. So you have to give in order to take, and you have to take in order to give. I don't see that as a problem. Where the issue comes in is this narrative that is actually promoted to us more than actual realistic and healthy ways of actually dating, where women are asking for bags, dates, services, and much more as the transaction they require from a man, and a transaction that they give back is usually their bodies, their look, their beauty, and can also be their wombs. And the reason why I find this very risky and also detrimental is because we're now conditioning a generation of young people, and especially young women, to believe that love is based off of things that it shouldn't be based off of. I'm gonna play the clip that inspired this video so that we have an understanding of where I want to go with this topic.
Oh, goodness gracious. I think that high functioning is great, and there are all of these terms. And there's also another term that's really trending right now, which is the modern woman, right? And I think that it's really important to differentiate the difference between, obviously, we're in modern days, so if you're a woman, you are a modern woman. But I'm talking about the clickbaiting catchphrase of modern woman. And, you know, in these ideas, like in this day, the modern woman and these ideas about sexual freedom are cheapening the dating experience. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but it almost seems like, for me, and maybe I'm a little extra in saying this, but it seems like Instagram baddies, or, you know, the different terms these modern day women are entitled, and it's cheapened into a prostitution experience. I will give you my body because you brought me to Nobu. I will give you my body because you sent me to get my nails done. I will give you my body because of XYZ, instead of it being, okay, I'm actually looking for partnership in life. Because those that have traditional values around their relationship are looking for, who can I build with, and why would I want to build with them, and what are we going to build, as opposed to the dating experience now of, what can I get from you? Especially with the modern day woman. How much money are you gonna send me? How many things are you gonna buy me? How many experiences are you gonna give me? I need to go on a trip. I need a Birkin bag. I need Chanel shoes. And my real issue with that, because I believe get it how you live it. If that's what you want to do you, boo. However, stop putting it on Instagram like you're this serial entrepreneur, successful boss babe, when really what you're doing is you're not taking picture of the man that's sweating all over you that you don't like. And that's my issue. Little girls are now fetishizing and glamorizing what they don't know is prostitution. I think that a lot of people aren't thinking about how the modern woman experience is making it where you'll never be a wife. And not to say that that's the goal, because the goal is not marriage. The goal is alignment, purpose, like God, you know, the things that matter. However, if you get to a space where all you're doing is going after a man for what he can give you, you might have him for a week. You might have him for a month. You might have him for 6 months, but he will never wife you, because one thing about high value is exclusivity. And if anybody could have it, why would somebody want it?
So I would assume that in certain interpretations of her words, there are a group of women that may call her a pick-me, that may call her anti-women, that may call her jealous or bitter, and that may call her a hater, because she's essentially telling women that dating and relationships shouldn't solely be based off of giving a man your body in exchange for things that you think will make you happy that really serve no value. So I wanted to talk about this because I think as someone in their 20s, I hear this a lot from my peers, I see it online, and again, I think there is a generation of young people that have the game messed up, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out when it's all said and done. So I've broken this video down into one overall main talking point. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my one and overall main talking point is modern day prostitution is the new dating. Now, this is a bold statement because of course it doesn't apply to all. And I don't want anyone to be offended. If you know you don't apply to a lot of things I'm gonna say, please don't take it personally. None of this is coming from a place of hate, just a place of observation. So as y'all know, I have a modeling agency, so I've been able to work with well over 100 different women, I would say between the ages of 18 and 30 over the last few years. And outside of the pictures and the videos and the bookings, you get to know a lot of these girls and some of their mindsets. And I've met girls who maybe they became young mothers because they fell in love, and their generational line is that a lot of women in their family made a choice to have children young because it's just normalized to them, not realizing that most women should probably wait or at least have some type of solid security if they're going to be with a man. They fell for the old okie doke. They were young and in love, they end up getting pregnant, and they're doing the best that they can. And I have a lot of respect for the girls who come in my agency and this is their reality, because a lot of them are very educated women. They're handling their business, they're raising their child, and they still made time for themselves to do something for themselves, such as model in my agency. But for the ones that do this and some of the ones that don't, I've seen a commonality in the mindset amongst this age group. And it's always, a man has to do XYZ for me to date them, take them serious, have sex with them, etc. And although I do agree that no woman should be giving up her goodies for pebbles and bus tokens, I think we have to redefine what it is. A woman should actually be looking for a serious dating partner, because the end result or the consequence is a lot of men are seeing this and hearing these narratives that are spewed out in the female rap music, that are put out by women in the media who we deem attractive or popular or beautiful, idolizing their relationships with higher earning men, that are put out by everyday women, and even in the gender wars conversations that I just hope that we leave in 2024. So there's been a lot of girl talk over the years, and I listen more as a friend or an acquaintance when I'm not wearing my director hat, and a lot of these young girls often say that dudes need to buy them this in order for them to buy in, and a man needs to take her to this very fancy establishment in order for her to give it up.
24, 26.
Where you from?
Los Angeles.
What do you look for in a man?
Paper.
You're kidding.
No.
Why are you so interested in a man's money?
I mean, he has to be like, you know, taking care of me. Of course.
Being that you both live in LA, how much would you expect him to make?
At least enough to take care of me. He doesn't have to be like a rich, but he does have to.
So dollar figure wise, what does that look like to you?
We're kind of pricey.
So let's say I was your man and I was taking care of you. What would you do for me if I'm paying for everything?
Sit at home, cook, clean. Blah, blah, blah.
That's all I'd get in return.
What else do you want?
Don't take him out. Don't spend a dime. Don't spend a nickel. Don't spend a penny. Go somewhere that is free. And if she is unwilling to go there with you, don't go out with her. Talk to her on FaceTime. Talk to her on the phone.
But where's the action?
If she wants something from you without knowing you, she's playing you.
They're not
Homeless
looking for love.
and
They're looking
hungry. They are
Wait,
bored.
let me say this.
Their baby
Most of
daddy
these-
not calling them back.
Let
Why
me
should
say
you?
this.
And again, I do feel like standards need to be had. I'm not going to encourage women to lower their standards or accept nothing for something. That's not what I'm trying to say, and I hope this doesn't get misconstrued. But what I am saying is that it definitely sounds like a lot of prostitution where we base our sexual advances and intentions within dating men on materialistic gifts or transactions that that they may or may not give. I think a lot of women fail to understand that when you put out this narrative that all you need to be is interested or impressed by money, bags, shopping sprees, nice cars, nice dinners, you're kind of cheapening yourself, because essentially you are not asking for the things that actually maintain value in a relationship, such as structure, leadership, career-driven mindsets, a lover, provider, protector. And I think the argument or the rebuttal is going to be that women simultaneously want all of these nice things in addition to the man that has great character, which I think is great. But I think the problem is a lot of that isn't being said. It's being assumed or maybe implied without that actually being the narrative. The narrative is more heavily focused on the good experiences and the trips and the vacations and trendy, expensive items. But it's almost like we have some silent letters that we don't hear. It's almost silent as the G in lasagna. So essentially it's coming off like, hey, this is the main thing that I want in order for me to think that you're a great partner. And although I do believe most women would still want the loving and caring man who has good intentions to actually build and continue on a strong relationship, it's not what is being promoted. And I don't necessarily even blame modern women all the way. I feel like entertainment has a heavy influence on why this is. I love female rappers, I've critiqued them, but at the end of the day, I still listen to their content. And in a lot of these songs, there is a very materialistic and very upper and money-oriented or bougie connotation that they give. And we're singing these songs, we're chanting them, we're making them anthems, we're picking out the one line and making it our Instagram captions or singing it at the top of our lungs, and we're putting that into the world as a name tag on us. And I think it actually does us a disservice, because now you're attracting the men who they're not necessarily looking for real genuine love. Their insecurities are so great that they're able to trick on you. They're able to give you these items and these experiences that you're requesting, and that's if you're even able to attract a guy who can do that. And then when that's the case, we see a lot of women get wrapped up into relationships that are really based on monetary transactions versus morality transaction. And again, I'm not saying lower your expectations, but I do think relationships that are founded on two people actually being genuine about their intentions to build the love, structure, and trust and respect more than some of the embellishments that can come with two people in love, such as gifts and that type of love language, pan out better in a lot of cases. Nothing in a relationship is foolproof. Relationships fail for many different reasons. I just see this narrative in a lot of young women a lot. And I listen to it and I'm just like, you have to be realistic. If you're automatically expecting a guy to basically treat you like you're his pet or child or charity, and those are your initial expectations, I'm realizing that a lot of women are selling themselves short on the things that actually matter. And I definitely have a mindset that if a man isn't doing XYZ, he needs to see the door. I'm not going to say I don't, because I do think gift giving or certain materialistic things can attest to how a man likes you, but I also feel like it can attest to him not liking you either, especially if that's the main requirement or the driver of the relationship. Everything just boils down to what you initially promote as requirements, and I think we should shy away from it always having to be mainly about things money can buy versus things money can't buy. You can't buy happiness, you can't buy respect, you can't buy true love, you can't buy a protector, you can't buy these things in a man. A man just has to have it in them, and the vetting process that women have been using is a bit skewed. And I know it's hard because a lot of people who are single say that the dating pool is trash. A lot of these men want to be Cinderella. They want to be the ones that are taken out and tricked on per se. But I also see nothing wrong with a woman showing her care and attraction and devotion to a man through gift giving and financial offerings. I just don't think that should be the beginning or basis or thesis of a relationship, and a lot of young people are starting with that because they're so mesmerized by the media. I will always refer to this, but I feel like when the rapper baby mamas became really popular in recent times, a lot of women were chasing after that lifestyle. Of course, we've always had shows from before then, such as Real Housewives or Basketball Wives or WAGs or MTV Cribs, or just reality shows based off of our favorite entertainers. And we saw these luxurious lifestyles that these women were living. But to compare the athletes or rappers or actors who are making money that isn't average and the things that those women get is incomparable to just the average man and woman within any community. So I feel like a lot of women are saying that they see what their favorite Instagram model or favorite reality TV star is getting from their partner, and they want that rhetoric to apply to an average lifestyle. And so because a lot of women have adopted that just based off of the media focus on materialism and luxury now more than ever, it's actually polluted genuine intentions with a lot of women. And men too. I think a lot of men think they can buy their way into a woman's heart, and you really can't. Women know the game. Women can sniff out a good trick easily. When you're being too forward and giving from the beginning, it does come off like you're trying to purchase a woman, and some women will see that and reject it because they have good intentions and they don't want to just be seen as just an item. Or some women will see that and use it to their advantage, which happens a lot of times. Then you get these guys who say they spent all this money or they did this trip or these big things for a woman and it didn't result in her actually loving him, and that's because you went into the situation trying to impress a girl financially before you impressed her with your emotions and your mentality and your character. So it does go both ways.
Absolutely hate seeing the younger girlies waste y'all best years on men that you are not attracted to at all and who are also significantly older than you just for the sake of getting to the bag, because social media has made you feel like that is a win. In my opinion, honestly, dating somebody that you are not at all attracted to for the sole purpose of money is still settling, because there's somebody out here who will have their ish together and who you'll wake up to and feel like is, damn, like, he's fine. You'll actually like him and you can have all the things. Like, I'm not a believer in like, oh, one or the other. Like, I know like on here everybody's like, oh, like, you have to choose one or the other, like, you know, pick one. Like, if he's gonna have his ish, you're gonna have, but he's not gonna look the best, and you know, if he looks great, he's not gonna have, no, bitch. And I hate seeing y'all give into these ideologies that like, oh, it's a win if like I'm completely repulsed by this man and I don't want to be touched by him. And I don't want to like really even breathe his same air, but like he has so much money, so I'm winning. No, you're not. You're miserable. This man gets you in some of your best years. Y'all be in your prime. You have the energy to do things, the adventurous spirit to do new things, and you're with some man in his late 50s. And if it's genuine, don't get me wrong, if it's genuine, go for it, you know, like, okay, whatever. But I'm speaking like for when it's not. You're with this man in his late 50s. Y'all probably don't have a lot in common. Like, be so for real. He's more in the settle down state. He does not have the same energy as you, more than likely. He doesn't want to go do the same things as you. Y'all have two different sets of values because y'all are at two so different points in your life. And you have convinced yourself that you're winning because, oh, money. Okay, great, money. Time. You can't get the time back. And then the thing is, like, if y'all just make the money yourselves, your dating pool is so much more expansive anyway, because then you don't have to put up with this man that you don't really like, because you have money too. And you'll be in circles with men that you actually like that also have money. I just hate that for y'all. I hate when I see that, honestly.
I want you to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of this? Right? Are you hungry? Or do you want to see if you have chemistry with somebody? Do you want to see, are you looking for your husband? Are you looking for your wife? Or are you looking for somebody to fund you?
Yeah.
Are you looking for somebody just to pay for a meal? Are you just trying to be spontaneous just to go with the flow and see what's out there?
Yeah.
You need to ask yourself these questions, because the coffee dates are the times where you got to show up as you.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no drinks involved. There's no distraction around you. It's literally you, your person, a coffee, maybe a donut, maybe a cookie. It's very, very lighthearted. And if you don't have the personality, if you don't have the communication skills, if you don't have the emotional intelligence to sit in that conversation and have an hour to 30-minute conversation with a person, then there's no point of us going to dinner and being stuck for 2.5 to 3 hours. And we don't have anything to connect with.
Too many people are so transactional with their partner. And that's why you're counting favors. That's why it's always, well, I did this, but you did that, or I don't feel this and you feel that. It's always a battle. It's transactional today with the way men and women communicate with each other and the way we date each other. Everybody is trying to say who got it worse, who got it better, who's higher, who's lower, who is the most oppressed. Rather than saying, look, we all struggling.
100%.
We all got these things that we do. We all bring our own crap to the table, and we all got to work together in order to figure it out. But that's what happens when you have a contractual mindset about relationships versus a covenant.
All in all, I feel like modern day dating has come off like prostitution. And I feel like a lot of women feel that in order for them to get something that they want, or they think that they want versus what they need, it has to come from luxuries and experiences that aren't the end all be all of relationships. A trip to Mexico isn't going to keep y'all together. A brand new Louis Vuitton bag isn't going to keep y'all together. Those things are tokens of love that come throughout the process versus the building blocks of love that start the process. If your relationship is based off of what someone can do for you financially or in a luxury or bougie based way, I don't see it lasting from my personal opinion, but I do know that everyone is different. So I think it's just some food for thought for both men and women to consider. What are the actual standards and requirements that you are putting out to form genuine relationships versus something that may or may not be based on what you truly want and what you truly need? I hear the dating pool sucks, so I get it, ladies. And I do understand that frustration of saying, well, I'd rather cry in a Rolls Royce because some of these men are going to do you bad anyway, so let me just get something out of it. But I think if you rewire even trying to require things that are more based on extracurriculars versus foundational aspects of a relationship, you'll be able to vet men a lot better and not even waste your time altogether. For both men and women, the old saying goes, money isn't everything, and it really isn't. Let's stop prostituting ourselves for things that aren't going to make us happy in the long run. You can cry in a Burberry scarf, but you can also use to wipe the same tears. Some people are focused on a Rolls Royce when they should be focused on respect. Some people are focused on Hermes when they should be focused on honesty. Some people are focused on a trip to Tulum when they should be focused on trust. Some people are focused on steak dinners and sports cars when they should be focused on support and safety from their partner. Again, this message isn't to tell women to drop their standards or lessen their standards. It's just to say, let's be more realistic and more forward about the things that we actually need versus the wants or the narrative that the media or our frustrations have us harping on. Everything that you could ever want will definitely come with the right person. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, definitely check me out on the Let's Talk About It Baby podcast. Shout out to my fellow content creator here on YouTube, Taylor Patrice. She interviewed me. The podcast is over an hour long, so if you're looking for more Queen Chioma content but on the other side of the camera, definitely click the link pinned down below. And as always, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
I was in college and I knew somebody that went to the rival school, which was BG, Bowling Green. And then my boyfriend, like I said, he plays football. And that person then transferred, hadn't seen him for years, ends up going to school with him. Okay. So after we kind of reconnected and he's just like, hey, you know, I think you should come down to Atlanta because I got this going on, that going on. I was just like, I don't really want to go down there because I had a really bad experience in Atlanta before. So I just kind of took it off the radar for the longest. But he was just like, kind of kept begging me. And then one time he's like, you know, I think you should talk to my friend. And I was just like, who your friend? Like, because I just talked to him and I was just like, okay. Because I messaged him and I'm like, okay. So I messaged him and he'll tell you this. I'm going to make sure because he's going to watch this. Yes, I did talk to you first. Yes, I did message you first. Yes, I did essentially shoot my shot first, but it was under direction of somebody else, but whatever. And then I don't know.